welcome to In Bed with Brooke, episode 10. So in case you're wondering, as you watch these videos in succession, usually I film like 3 or 4 of them at a time, so yeah, I'm wearing the same thing. So, just so you wanted to know. So we're still in chapter 4, and the last episode 9 had left off where Alex was at an audition where she had to fight off the advances of the casting director. So as she leaves, this is where we continue in this episode, episode 10 of In Bed with Brooke. Alex walked slowly to her car. Her legs shook the entire time. She refused to let anyone see her rattled. For all she knew, the casting director was watching her walk to the parking lot and would love to see her freaking out. She got in her car and headed home. The whole scene played over in her head and angered her more with each passing moment. She couldn't wait to get home and have a drink. Maybe Slater was there and she could bum a cigarette from him. It felt like that kind of moment. Slater lit a cigarette and took a deep drag. He popped open a beer and sipped as he admired the view from the balcony. He couldn't believe his luck with Alexandra letting him live here. Half the time he thought it was a dream, and the other half he was expecting her to change her mind and kick him out. He turned as he heard the door slam and saw her purse land on the table. He could hear her muttering something as he saw her remove one shoe and throw it across the room and listen to it land with a thud. Huh, he mused quietly as he turned an ear to hear her better. Wonder what has her so fired up. Maybe she ran into Hayes. The thought had a grin spreading across his face as her voice got louder. Alex was fuming. All that preparation for that audition, and the casting director only wanted one thing from her: a blowjob. Who the hell does he think he is, she muttered, taking off her other shoe and throwing it in the direction of the first one. This time her heel left a scuff on the wall. You fucking bastard. Slater took a slow drink of his beer and decided he better speak up. Hey, in case you're thinking of tossing something in my direction, try not to hit me, okay? She jumped and let out a squeal, not realizing that he had been watching her display of anger. You look like you're ready to kill someone, Slater observed. Alex walked over to him without saying a word and yanked his cigarette out of his hand and took a drag. Blowing out the smoke, she grabbed his beer from his other hand and took a swig. Handing it back to him, she stomped back inside into the kitchen and grabbed a beer for herself. He stood there, amused at what he had just witnessed, and kept his eyes on her when she walked back out to the balcony, then pointed to his cigarettes. Give me one of those, she demanded. He handed her his lighter and a cigarette and watched as she put it to her lips. You know what? She asked, trying to light it, but the flame was blown out by the breeze. What? He asked. You know what? Alex asked again, more frustrated now because the damn thing wouldn't light. What? He asked again, trying not to laugh. Do you know what? She gritted out between clenched teeth. Fucking what? Slater asked with a laugh, taking the cigarette out of her hand and lighting it, then handing it back to her. It is so not cool to get yourself prepared for what you think could be a great audition, and then you get there and the jerk is a sleazebag who tells you he will only cast you if you give him a blowjob. Sex can be a powerful bargaining tool, Slater replied. Well, it's not how I work. She took a drag of the cigarette, followed by a deep chug of beer. I didn't think you smoke, he pointed out, gesturing toward the cigarette she was holding. Alex looked at it thoughtfully and inhaled once more. Only when I'm really pissed or really drunk, which isn't that often. I bet you're fun when you're drunk, Alex, Slater teased with a smile. Yeah, I've been known to be the life of party at times, she said, smiling back. They smoked and drank in companionable silence. Slater's curiosity was piqued. So, someone tried to get you on the casting couch, huh? She nodded with a shiver. Yeah, it's gross. He wasn't even good looking. She looked at him and took a deep breath. It's so frustrating to prepare and then have that happen. I've heard stories about it, but so far I've avoided the experience. Well, you could take it as a compliment, Slater suggested. I don't blame the guy for trying. Alex's response was a roll of her eyes as she felt the blush creep up her neck. There were no words for a comment like that. Now, don't worry, he assured her. I'm not hitting on you. You made it very clear to me that wasn't allowed, but I can't blame him for trying. I wanted to hit him. He was such a creep, she exclaimed, calming down a bit and taking another sip of her beer. It's discouraging. I mean, how would you feel if you were trying to get someone to hire you to sing and they said they would, but only if you slept with them? What do they look like? He asked with a wicked grin. Alex playfully smacked his arm. I'm serious. Would you do it? She asked with curiosity. Not to get a job, but I might to say thank you for giving me the job. She laughed and shook her head. That's how you thank someone? No, you must be incredible. Only one way to find out, he teased with a smile. Shaking her head and smiling with him, she realized she liked Slater. Not happening, she retorted. Your loss, he replied with a shrug. Still shaking her head and smiling, she flicked the remainder of her cigarette off the balcony and became quiet. Her smile faded. You okay? Slater asked. Yeah, it was just unsettling. I kept my composure while I walked out of there, but my knees were shaking the whole time. Sipping her beer once more and not looking at him, she turned to look off the balcony. She began to scratch at the paint on the railing. Yeah, he put my hand on his dick and he tried to kiss me. I've never had someone try to force me like that before. It scared me, she admitted, her voice small. I can imagine, Slater said supportively, wanting to kick the jerk's ass for her. And then, Alex trailed off. And then what? Slater wondered. It's stupid, I know, but then he told me that I'd never make it in this business looking like I do without putting out. Looking like you do. What does that mean? He was confused. Now, in his eyes, she was damn near perfect. Short, brown hair, brown eyes, translation, not tall and blonde. There's nothing wrong with the way you look, Alex. You have to have thicker skin than that in this industry. I know that. I do. It's hard to have your insecurities thrown in your face like that. She shook off the mood and smiled at him and changed the subject. So what are you up to tonight? Got a gig. I'll be leaving soon. How about you? Well, I have a hot date. Oh, you do? With who? He asked. She sent him a clever grin. The couch, the television, and a bottle of wine. Ah, he said with a smile. Well, you kids have fun. I plan on it. Hey, I have kind of a weird question. Well, what's that? Do you have any black eyeliner I can use? He blurted out, suddenly uncomfortable to be asking to use a personal item of hers. Yeah, I'll go get it. Hang on. She walked quickly into the bathroom to get the liner for him. Not such a weird question in this industry. I dated a guy who used to wear mascara. You did, huh? He asked. He was still getting to know her, but he didn't like the thought of her with a boyfriend. Strange, he thought. I have no business caring about that. Yeah, that lasted all of 2 months when I finally figured out he was gay. That does wonders for your self-esteem, let me tell you, she said dryly and pointed to the eyeliner. I have more than one of those. You can have that one if you want. Amazed at her continued generosity, he nodded his appreciation and said thank you. Alex picked up the assorted items that had gotten thrown in anger and looked at him with a smile. Have a great show tonight, Slater. Break a leg. She sent him a little wave, went into her bedroom and closed the door behind her, suddenly wishing he wasn't going anywhere tonight and would keep her company while she watched a movie and nursed her wounds with a bottle of wine. She liked having him around. Slater stood on the balcony, smiling after her as she disappeared into her bedroom. He was looking forward to Heart and Soul's gig tonight. Stepping onto the stage and making music always made him feel complete. He thought about Alex's plans for the evening, thinking it wouldn't be such a terrible thing to have a Friday night free occasionally. Maybe in the future, she would invite him to join her on the couch with a bottle of wine. He tipped back the bottle of his beer and finished it with a long pull and muttered to himself, lucky fucking couch. So that's the end of chapter 4. So we'll stop here. And obviously the next episode will pick up at the beginning of chapter 5. Let me know what you think about the remainder of chapter 4 and how things ended with Alex at the audition and this little exchange between her and Slater, because I think we're starting to feel this, not necessarily the attraction yet, but we're definitely feeling just the liking of each other, and she really appreciates the fact that there's somebody there and she likes his presence. So again, as always, I will leave information on where to find both Set It Free and Let It Go, the first 2 books in the Heart and Soul series, down in the comments. Please like this video, please share it with your friends, and please leave me a positive comment. Thanks for watching.